I am retired general, PhD Bardhyl. I have a military background, but I am in this business, meaning in ARB security, since 2019. And for 7 years, to be honest, I have learned a lot. And now I can make the distinction between being a military and at the same time being a representative of private security companies, which is a bit a difference, because here we don't use the arm. Here we have to be a negotiator. Here we have to be pensioned. And here we have to know how to avoid any misunderstanding or misperception of our work or the client's processes or the project. When we recruit the personnel, it is written in our documentation that formal military or formal military police are preferable. And that's very good. But when it comes on the ground and talking about the operational issues, sometimes they think as a military. And just to train them to change mindset. You are not carrying the arms. You have not in front of you the enemy. In front of you are your friends, your cousins, your community. So just you have to be patient, you have to be negotiator, you have to explain why they shouldn't come and shouldn't touch this facility, which is a private facility. So it's quite interesting to talk to them and to change their mind. When we receive the request from ICOCA to conduct a case study based on the best practices, we consider two key considerations. The first one was related to the ICOCA standards to be applied in this case study, and the second one to choose the most challenging security task. Regarding ICOCA standards, we were familiar since 2020 when we became an affiliate member of ICOCA. And I have been applying them in preparing the security manuals, security plans, and other related security documents, including the training program for all personnel. Regarding the most challenging security task, we refer to ARMA, Albanian Refinery and Marketing of Oil. We took over the security for this facility after its privatization period, during which many employees lost the job, resulting in a high tension and frequent protesters. In these circumstances, we decided to choose the most experienced security guards from Tirana and deployed them in Fier, where is the location of ARMO. But despite of their commitment, professionalism and dedication, this approach resulted ineffective. And this is due to the lack of familiarity of this personnel with the community, meaning their culture, their concern, and so on. So the protests were increasing and also tension were increasing. Again, we consider our decision by replacing the guards brought from Tirana with the locals. So we recruited security guards from the community who had the same culture, the same concern, even they have many relatives among protesters. This resulted in a very good communication with the protesters, and it calmed down the situation and also making the protest more peaceful. Now, considering this approach, later on, we further developed and named it community-based security. And also, we took some another case studies, including Statkraft and Voltalia. And we were very lucky because the standards of Statkraft and Voltalia were almost the same with the standard of ICOCA. This helps us to adapt our procedure, to train our personnel, and to be very successful in providing the security for these very important clients in Albania. One of the most important part of our job is the training of our personnel on ICOCA standards and on voluntary principles on security and human rights. But also very important for us is to know and to train our personnel in terms of the standards and requirements of our clients. So we have a very structured training program, consists of 6 chapters, starting with the legislation of Albania related to the private security companies' activities, and then we study the specifics of the project, the specifics of the facility, and the specific of the security based on the risk assessment study that we use to conduct at the first, before taking over any security for any facility. Then, very important, another chapter, respecting the human rights. It's a very important, and we trained our personnel based on voluntary principle on security and human rights, but also based on the ICOCA standards of this regard. And then very important is to know code of conduct, golden rules of our clients, and to train the personnel, and also followed by the HSE, very, very important. And also the last one is about how we train our personnel to manage any incidents. You know, the key point of CBS study is to get early identification about any incident that might occur. And to reach in this point, of course, we have very good communication with the communities, but time to time we refresh the risk assessment study. And then we prepare the scenario for our security guards, and we train them how to mitigate this risk that might occur during their service. And so far we have been very successful, and we pretend that our guards are not simply guards staying in a static way in the facility, but at the same time they have dual duties, let's say. The first one to be the fixed guard, but the second one to be so-called social sensors, which means that time to time they have to listen very carefully the voice of the community, and in a better way, in a formal way, to bring them to us, and very carefully to analyze them together with the clients, and to take preliminary measures in order to avoid any incident that might occur in the future. That these security guards have been here since 2015. So they got enough experience, included also the experience with the requirement of the clients. So there have been some land disputes. There have been some problems in terms of freedom of movement. They very carefully now become very good negotiator, how to listen the voice, how to bring them the voice, and as the representative or having the same concern with the community, they are acting in very, very better way to bring these issues and to solve them and to avoid any misunderstanding. And hopefully, since 2020, we never had any incidents with the community, which we consider a great success.